Welcome back to our show, America, the once great nation, or as many people would say, was it ever great? Today, we're going to talk about religion in America. We are losing religion in America, and that is a fact. God is being replaced by our government. We might look now at our government as an unintended rival to the church. One wants donations, while the other collects taxes. One gives inspiration, the other gives out cheese. Of course, we've had false prophets giving people the message over the years. Even though they are false, those messages are not. Before we talk more about the current times, let's talk about the founding of this nation. One of our most precious books written in the past was written by Roger Williams. The book was called The Bloody Tenet of Persecution. In this book, we found some of the most powerful arguments made against intolerance and for the rights of all people to their own religious beliefs. Because of he and other men like him, we have religious freedom in America today. Another such man was Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson took a decade to write his new article to become law in Virginia. He wrote that all men shall be free to profess and by argument to maintain their opinions in their matter of religion. Other states followed this example. We must remember Catholics were not welcome in certain parts of the country many years ago. If we look at television entertainment from the past, religion had its place on TV. A show called Life Worth Living began in 1953 under Bishop Fulton Sheen, played opposite of Uncle Milty. Now, if you don't know who Uncle Milty is, that was Milton Berle, the comedian. Milton Berle used to kid his competition by saying they both worked for the same big boss in the sky. And who also could forget the great Billy Graham, who also began his TV crusade in 1953. We are a country that wanted to be free of religion in our government. We also kept our schools free from religion. The reason is obvious. We are a country filled with people from all over the world, bringing their religion with them. With our promise, they may practice that religion free from persecution. Here's a quote you might like. Russia has abolished God, but so far God has been more tolerant, by John Cameron Swayze. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We would appreciate your viewing and support. Now, from Sermon on the Mount by Emmett Fox, because we are children of a loving Father, we are entitled to expect that God will provide us fully with everything we need. Children naturally and spontaneously look to their parents for supply of all their wants. And in the same way, we should look to God to supply ours. If we do so, faith and understanding, we shall never look in vain. Page 176. And here we have the book, Mind in the Making. And this book, of course, was written, I believe, back in the 20s, but we can verify that. 1921. So we're going back a little over 100 years. Now, let's get back. Of course, many can't believe in an unseen God-like figure. But you can believe in the very same politicians who have failed to deliver on their promises year after year after year. We're a silly people. We'll see how they handle the recent floods down south, or the wars in Israel and the Ukraine. Is that where your faith lies? Now we have businesses and companies ditching the phrase Merry Christmas for fear of reprisal. People complain they can see the giant cross on a hill as they drive by, and it triggers them. We don't like the words "in God we trust" on our monetary system, in our money. So if we take a look here at a cartoon that we might be interested in, if we can get to it. Excuse me 1 second, people. My hand is stuck. And so are the pages. Yep, sorry. So if we look at what happens during Christmas time in America, all this man did was say, "Merry Christmas," and the officer says that'll be a $250 fine. That's what's happening in America today. So if we go back and we look at some of the philosophers, the pagan philosophers reckoned with the gods, to be sure, but they never assumed that man's earthly life should turn entirely on what would happen after death. This was the theory, the sole preoccupation of the medieval Christian. Life here below was a brief, if decisive, preliminary to the real life to come. Mind in the Making by James Harvey Robinson. We've seen the book already. Each religion considers itself to have a monopoly on the truth and the way forward in life. But any religion that espouses violence is not a religion, but a cult. The fatherhood of God has been preached by Christians for 18 centuries, and the brotherhood of man and the Stoics long before them. The doctrine has proved compatible with slavery and serfdom, with wars blessed and not infrequently instigated by religious leaders, and with industrial oppression which it requires a brave clergyman or teacher to denounce today. True, we sometimes have moments of sympathy when our fellow creatures become objects of tender solitude. Some rare souls may honestly flatter themselves that they love mankind in general. But it would surely be a very rare soul indeed who dared profess that he loved his personal enemies, much less the enemies of his country or institutions. Mind in the Making by James Harvey Robinson. I ask, is the church fully noticing our moral decline as a country, and are they addressing it? It's estimated that between 20 and 25% of Americans don't believe in God and recognized as atheists. Here's a famous quote from a famous man. "I can see how it might be possible for man to look down upon the earth and be an atheist, but I cannot conceive how he could look up into the heavens and say there is no God." Abraham Lincoln. So if we look at what we're talking about with atheists, we can see here this gentleman seems to be bursting into flames, and this man asks, "Is this a vampire?" No, an atheist. They seem to be triggered by the cross and other religious items. So if we go back after this, we can see, we as a society, can we end our relationship with God? Do we have enough of a moral base to continue without him or her? Did God give us enough to go on in life without him or her? Is morality now built into our DNA? I can't answer that question. Someone smarter than myself will have to think about it and answer the question. Will we someday vote a true atheist into the White House as president? My answer would be no for now. But who's to say in the next 10 or 15 or 20 years we wouldn't vote in a true non-believer? That is, if we're all still here and haven't blown up the world by then. In how many kingdoms of the world has the crusading sword of the misguided Saint Errant spared neither age nor merit or sex or condition? And as he fought under the banners of a religion which set him loose from justice and humanity, he showed none, mercilessly tramped on both, heard neither the cries of the unfortunate nor pitied their distresses. The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy, page 100. That would be this book here, and I believe the book was printed in 1912. So that was 1912, we talked about that. So think about where we're headed in today's country, where we're headed in religion. If religion is disappearing, is that a good thing? Will that make us better as a nation? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the next decade or two. So please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel, and we appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.